What's going on, Eagles fans? It's me. It's your boy, SalG. And I hope you're all well rested and doing good today. I hope you all had off. I didn't have off. I'm dead tired. The Eagles win Super Bowl 59 in not so dramatic fashion. I mean, that was an ass whooping of the highest degree. Holy smokes, guys. What's going on? You're watching the Wraparound here on It's a Wrap Network. And if you can, do your boy a favor, give us a like, share, and subscribe. And if you watch on YouTube, go ahead and hit that notifications button so you can get all this hotness that It's a Wrap Network has to offer right into your feeds wherever you consume your social media. That's where we'll be. And we want to be right in the forefront and center. So make sure you go ahead and click like, share, subscribe. And yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's right, news. The big news of the day is Phil's pitchers and catchers asking when OTA start. Start on Wednesday. OTAs. Yeah, right. OTAs. Phil's pitchers and catchers do start on Wednesday, though. I'm hyped for that, guys. But man, what what a performance! A dominant ass whooping of a performance from those Eagles. I mean, guys, the big headline. Yes, Eagles win Super Bowl 59. I mean, I'm still speechless. I don't think it's sunk in yet. You know, I was watching the game last night, and as I'm watching it, and the Eagles continue to pour on points and just keep scoring at will and dominating this game with their defense, it's and just making Patrick Mahomes look like, a rookie at Texas Tech. I mean, Patrick Mahomes looked shook, scared, didn't know what to do. The Eagles put up, holy smokes, how many points? How many points? Unanswered points. They were up 24-0 at halftime. At that point, I still wasn't sure personally if the Eagles had it in the bag because I still going back to the Falcons were up 28-3 on Tom Brady and the New England Patriots, and the Patriots came back to win that game. So I still thought in the corner of my mind, as dominant as the Eagles were, I still thought there was a chance Patrick Mahomes, the refs, whatever. Patrick Mahomes is a magician on the field. And I just thought maybe he had another trick in his sleeve, in his hat, his helmet. It's just wild, the scoring. I mean, I'm trying to think what point did I think the game was absolutely over. I mean, Eagles scored 34 unanswered points. Okay, you know what? When I knew it was over, honestly, at that point, the YOLO ball that Jalen Hurts threw to Devontae Smith in the middle of the field, no less. We know that Jalen Hurts doesn't like to throw in the middle of the field, but that was a YOLO ball in the middle of the field to Devontae Smith. He caught a 46-yard touchdown. I mean, when that happened, it was 34-0 in the third quarter. Yeah, at that point, I was pretty confident we won the game. But yeah, just going into halftime, 24-0. I'm like, I don't know, but it's just amazing, guys. I mean, it's if you look at it, really, it was a 40-6 game. I mean, either the Chiefs scored some touchdowns, they were gutter touchdowns at the end of the game. It didn't mean anything at that point. A 40-22 game, but it was a blowout. It was a blowout. Eagles had possession for almost 37 minutes, and they didn't do it with running the football. They couldn't run the football. If there was one thing that Steve Spagnuolo of the Kansas City Chiefs, the defensive coordinator, what he did in this game was say, I'm not going to let Saquon Barkley beat us. And Barkley did not beat the Chiefs yesterday. It was the Eagles defense. It was Vic Fangio. And let's give credit to where credit's due. Jalen Hurts had himself almost 300 yards of offense, 293 total. That's including his passing and rushing yards. 3 total touchdowns for Jalen Hurts. Your Super Bowl MVP. I mean, it's crazy, friends, that they just dismantled the Chiefs, a team going for the three-peat. All right, they went and contacted Pat Riley to get trademarks to put three-peat on their shirts that you're never going to see. They're going to be given away to some other country, to some people who need clothing, and rightfully so. But you're never going to; those shirts will never see the light of day. Three-peat, Chief Pete, whatever is going to be on the shirt. The shirts you're going to see in circulation right now. And by the way, can I just say, the Eagles Super Bowl gear they got out this year is whack. It is garbage. This is my hat, 2017 Super Bowl 52, 2018, but it was the 2017 season when Nick Foles won the Super Bowl. This shirt that I'm wearing that's like made out of sandpaper. It's like the roughest of shirts. Uh, I think you could clean a cast iron pan with this shirt. It's so rough. But man, I don't like the gear. The hat they have has like rope going across the brim, and I think that's the ugliest style of hat there is. The rope, and for whatever reason, NFL's pushing that style of hat, the ugly hat. I don't know what it is. I don't want that hat. I think it's ugly. So eventually, I'm going to make my way out to Lids, see what type of alternate Super Bowl hat I can get, because the one that the players wore was whack. The shirt was cool. I'll get me the shirt, but that hat, I can't deal with it. Yeah, Steve Nooms. I didn't think it was possible to exceed Super Bowl 52, but here we are. I mean, we look at it, guys. This game, this game is the greatest game by an Eagles team ever. Greatest Super Bowl. I mean, this is the best Eagles team I've ever seen. I know we've had some great defenses back in the 80s, the 90s, but none of them went to the Super Bowl. None of them destroyed a team that was favored to win. A team going for 3 consecutive Super Bowl wins just destroyed them. We didn't eke out the win. There wasn't a call in the game where people would say, "Well, I don't know about that win the Eagles got. I don't know. It shouldn't have went that way." No, the Eagles destroyed them. Greatest Eagles team ever. And I'm listening to people, I'm reading articles, and they're not just saying the greatest Eagles team ever. The greatest performance by a Philadelphia team ever. Ever. I mean, we got teams going back to the 1800s here in Philadelphia. The greatest performance by any Philadelphia sports team ever. I mean, my eyes, it's the greatest Eagles team ever. The greatest Philadelphia sports team. I mean, it might be. It might be. People were saying 83 Sixers, the 80 World Series for the Phillies, the '08 World Series for the Phillies. This team was obviously better than the 2017 crew. As awesome as that win was, it's the greatest. It's the greatest performance. I mean, I nobody, you know what? Nobody outside of Philadelphia liked this game. I guarantee you. Nobody liked the Super Bowl. They probably thought it sucked because it wasn't competitive. It was not competitive at all. The Eagles just destroyed them. Boots, what is it? Belts to asses? Is that what CJ was saying? Boots to asses, guys? Holy smokes. My boy Adam, what's going on, brother? He said, "What's up, Sal? Super Bowl champions." Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The Noom saying, at no point after I saw Joe Thuney and Caliendo play did I ever think KC was coming back. If they actually called those holds, it could have been a shutout. It's wild, right? It was wild. Frank Caliendo on that offensive line doing impersonations of Madden? Holy smokes. I mean, I the Chiefs got 15 wins in the regular season, right? That right? And they wrecked in the play. I mean, they won, but the Chiefs weren't dominant this year. I mean, yeah, they have 15 wins, and it's like, well, how can you say a team that didn't have 15 wins isn't dominant? They won every game by like one possession, one score. That was it. That was it. This wasn't out of the three Chiefs teams that went to the Super Bowl these past 3 seasons. This was the worst out of the three. But whatever team the Eagles would have faced, this Eagles team would have faced would have won. I just single handedly the defense is just, oh my goodness gracious. 85 Bears vibes, man. It's true, Adam. The defense rattled the Chiefs. They kept Mahomes trapped in the middle. He couldn't escape the pressure. He had happy feet. He couldn't get set. You know, he was totally rattled. He didn't know when the next hit was coming, the next pressure. Mahomes was sacked 6 times in this game. 6 times. Pressured 16 times. Pressured 16 times in this game. He was not blitzed once by this Eagles team. It was the front four for the Eagles team that just dominated and just laid the pressure on that Chiefs O-line all game. You're right. Joe Thuney was playing out of position. They had him in a role there that he wasn't prepared for. Couldn't handle it. Right? They moved the guard to the tackle and he couldn't do it. Nooms. Yes. Not only is the NFL trying to push the rope hat, but they did push Zubaz for a minute. And you know what? People in the Philadelphia area are still rocking them. They were probably rocking them last night, too. I'm saying Rally House has nice shirts and hats. Check them out. I will, man. I will. It's crazy, though, man, that a shirt has got to cost like $40, $50, man. Like, a hat and a shirt is like over $100, man. It's wild, dude. It is wild, man. I got to save a couple paychecks up, man. But yeah, I'll check them out, man. I can't go with the de facto hat that was on the field. I don't like it. I love this hat, man. And the brim, if you can look at this brim, it's like reflective. It's like got like purple and green in it. I love this hat, man. I think this hat is awesome. But the hat they're selling this year, man, you think hats would get better and look nicer? I don't know. It looked like crap, man. Noobs. Lining them up, knocking them down tonight, brother. Buddy Ryan was a goddamn fraud. Oh, man. Yeah, he can't. You know what? He can't hold the candle to Vic Fangio. But, man, it's the battle of defensive coordinators in this game. Steve Spagnuolo versus Vic Fangio. Oh, man, Vic definitely had it in this game. He got that win. Holy smokes. All right. Noom saying, sorry, dude, I still got to go 4-5-4 for best. That's Moses Malone, right? For best postseason Philly performance. It might be. Well, that was the 83 squad, 83 Sixer squad. I was a wee baron at that time. Joe Hale, what's up, man? The Eagles exposed the Chiefs, the chefs. Yeah, man. Fandango. Fangio had a masterpiece yesterday. For all you young guys out there try to be defensive coordinators, learn from Vic Fangio. And you know what? If the Eagles are smart, right now they got a crew, a brain trust, a group think of young guys trying to learn as much from Vic Fangio as you can. Because my man's 66, and I know he's not going anywhere right now. But retirement's, coming sooner than rather than later. You try and pick this man's brain and learn as much as you can off of Vic. That way, when Vic decides to ride off in the sunset, and we know it's not going to be next year, and Vic's not going to be a head coach. He's perfectly content in his coordinator role. You let him ride in this role, but man, the next coordinator from this team has got to be a protege from Vic. Whoever's working with Vic right now, that's going to be your next coordinator after Vic, for sure. No doubt about it. Joe Hale, I love the long ball from Jalen Hurts, man. You know what? Jalen Hurts, man, it's time to give this dude his flowers. I mean, the national media, we know what we have here with Jalen Hurts. We do. But the national media, man, rips this dude, and I think they're still not giving him the flowers, man. All Hurts does, man, he just wins. He just wins games. And you know what? Whether you throw for 200 yards or 350 yards, it don't matter as long as you win, right? It's not that Hurts is having ugly games where you're like, what is this guy doing? No, he's doing enough to win the game and not costing you the game. That's what you want him to do. He went 17 for 22 last night. Can the Eagles put up 40 points with Hurts only going 17 for 22, 221 yards through the air? Because this is an old school team is led by defense. You know what they say? Offense wins games, defense wins championships. Well, here you go. Case in point. You know, football 101, and defense 101. This is how you win. This is how you win championships. Defense. Baltimore Ravens from 2000. Bears 85. Eagles 2025. 2024-25. Here you go. The blueprint to win. It's laid out. Jalen Hurts is doing what he needs to do to win. And you know what? He's given the accolades. Compare Jalen Hurts' numbers from the past two Super Bowls with Patrick Mahomes' numbers from these past two Super Bowls. And guess what, guys? You're going to be in for a surprise because Hurts leads in all the numbers, touchdowns, passing yardage, completion percentage. Hurts almost won the game. The Eagles barely lost that game against the Chiefs 2 years ago. They barely lost it. They had a chance to win. It was a back and forth shootout game. The defense that we had in that game, guess what? The defense we had that season, where we were racking up all these sacks, it was a fraudulent defense. We feasted on bad quarterback play, and teams like the Chiefs exposed the defense for what it was, fraudulent. But this defense, you couldn't expose them. And you know what? This game reminded me of the game when Tampa Bay won their Super Bowl and Brady faced the Chiefs, and Tampa Bay just smacked the crap out of the Chiefs. And Mahomes got hurt in that game, and he was a little, banged up for sure. And, then, of course, the national media, I'm reading something that was like, oh, Hurts was getting hit. He might have played through a possible concussion. Well, you know what? If he played through a concussion, shame on the Chiefs for letting that man play and risking his life and his neck out there. I don't want to buy that horse shit. And if that's what the Chiefs did, my man Mahomes, if he had a concussion, shame on them. Shame on the NFL, too. But I'm not buying that. It's excuses. But you're hearing a lot of the media saying, Patrick Mahomes was off his game. He didn't look great. Not giving credit to the Eagles defense. The Eagles defense is the reason why Patrick Mahomes played like shit. He threw 2 picks. That's uncharacteristic of Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs don't commit turnovers. And in this game, the battle of the turnovers was the deciding factor. That was the reason why. Turnovers, ready? Turnovers. Eagles had 1. Chiefs had 3. Luckily, the turnover that Hurts had early in the game, that interception, he was staring down a blitz, guy right in his face. Yeah, he threw a ball up. He shouldn't have threw it. But he learned from that. He kept it moving. Patrick Mahomes, 2 picks. Man, fumble lost in this game. I mean, this was masterclass performance by the Philadelphia Eagles. They deserve to win the Super Bowl. They are your world champs. It's time to give them some respect. And it's time to give everybody else on this team respect. And you know what? At the beginning of this season, I doubted a lot of guys. A lot of guys here. I doubted Sirianni. 2-2 going into the bye week. I was one of those people that said, "Yo, man, what does this guy do here? Get rid of him. He's a clown." Because the stuff he was doing, fighting with the fans, doing clown shit, and I thought it was corny. Fighting with Zach Ertz. I know that came later on, but it's Nick Sirianni is a big reason why these Eagles won. It's not the main reason. It's not the only reason, but he definitely played a role in this Eagles championship, in this great season the Eagles had. The best Eagles season of all time. Nick Sirianni is rightfully going to get a contract extension. You got it. I mean, you got to get one. He's going in the next year as 1 year left. You can't have him as a lame duck just winning the Super Bowl. My man's only making $7 million. Some of the new coaches that were hired by NFL teams this year. The one guy going to the Bears, I forgot his name, but the guy from Tampa, right? He's getting like 14 million. It hurts. Or Sirianni is in the fifth year, going into the fifth year of his $35 million contract, making 7 million a year. I know 7 million a year is crazy, but he's like one of the lowest paid coaches in the league, so he's going to get a significant bump, and he's deserving of it. Yeah, I'm guessing a 3 year extension on top of what his year he has left. That's what I see happening. I don't think they're going to give him more than 3, and giving him less than that is probably an insult. So he's going to get his contract, and he deserves it. He is a player, or he is a coach that the players love to play for. They love that man. The man truly, genuinely cares about his players. It's evident. The players care about him, and they play for that coach. And you know what? And he's got their back. The players have his back, and he has the players' back. So there's that mutual respect there. We might not get it, and Sirianni may not be that conventional coach, and he may not be a fit for a lot of the other teams out there, but he's a fit for this team and what this team needs right now. I think he's the glue holding it together. I think he built a culture on this team, a winning culture, a culture that cares about his players. Genuinely cares. I've this he's here's read stories where he writes letters to the players. Give them like a card or something when they have a good performance. He's got that stuff up on his wall. It's time, guys. It's time to give. It's time to give this team and the coaching staff and Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie their flowers, man. We got a good thing going on here in Philadelphia. But Jalen Hurts just wins, man. Going back to, I'm tying a bow on this. Jalen Hurts wins. All he's done, he's 26 years old. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's won one, and he almost won another. So 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. He's 26 years old. Guess what? Are the Eagles starting their own dynasty? They just destroyed the Chiefs going for their chief, Pete. Now the Eagles, I mean, they have everything in place. They have the makings. You can't start a dynasty without winning one championship, right? You win the first one, and then you move on to the next one. But you can't have a dynasty without starting off with one. All right. You got one. I mean, this team's been to the Super Bowl 3 times in 8 years. That's saying something. That's saying something for Howie Roseman. 3 times in 8 years, 2 different coaches, different personnel. It's great. So, 3 Super Bowl appearances in 8 years. No, is that a dynasty? No. 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. And if the Eagles continue this trajectory that they're on, yeah, we might have something special. You got a quarterback that's 26. You got Nick Sirianni, who's pretty darn young. You got Howie Roseman, who's young enough as a GM. You got an owner that cares. And yeah, he's getting old, but he's got family he passed that team on to, just like Jerry Jones has his sons, doing the operating day-to-day stuff. Lurie's got a son that he can pass it down to. But you have Nick Sirianni. You have the youngest defense in the league, and what a defense it is, top to bottom. Not many weaknesses on this defense. Okay, all right, Bryce. Bryce Huff was inactive yesterday. That was your big free agent signing. You didn't even need him to win the game. You didn't even need him to win the game yesterday. So you have what's in place now. Yeah, there's attrition. Every Super Bowl team goes through this. Great players are going to leave. You can't win a Super Bowl without great players. Your coaches are going to leave. Kellen Moore is slated to go to New Orleans. Although, interesting enough, Nick Sirianni did say, Kellen, let's run it back again. And they already know Kellen Moore's got the job. I mean, that's not a surprise. So you wonder, I'm not concerned either way. If Kellen Moore leaves, it's just the way it works. If he stays, all right, it's cool too. But I'm not going to get my panties in a twist if he ends up leaving. I think our offense is fine. You wonder though who they're going to get though. I don't think they're going to promote from within. They did that before. It was a disaster. Other people on the outside. Is it Frank Reich? I mean, bring him. I would take him. I don't think Doug Peterson would come back. That would be awkward, right? That would be weird. Peterson got fired for Nick, right? So I don't think that would happen. But you wonder, are they going to bring a familiar face back or a big time coordinator? Is he around that they can just pluck and just put him in place here? But the Eagles are going into the draft now, right? They're going to pick number 32. You won the championship. That's the way it works. They went all defense last year. It worked out. It was a smart move, smart drafting by Howie Roseman. Are they going to go offense now? They need a guard. Mekhi Becton, there's a chance you'll lose him, or the Eagles don't want to re-sign him. All right, Lane Johnson said he's coming back, so you got him. But if you lose Becton, is that Tyler Steen? Is he going right in? That might work. You're going to lose a lot of pieces on the defensive side, but the core is still young, and you can build around that. Slay still has another year left on his contract. They might get rid of him, cap casualty, save some money. Dallas Goedert has another year left. They might get rid of him, save some money. So they might be able to the bob and weave, and Howie, being the GM that he is might be able to make some shrewd moves, get things under the cap, get some money to get a free agent in here too that can really help either the defense or the offense, because we're going to need a guard. Whatever they're going to do, free agency comes first, right? And then you got the draft. So whatever you can't fulfill in free agency, you look towards to the draft for. Do we get a guard? You get another tackle? Get Lane's replacement? Maybe you re-sign Becton. He plays guard again for another year. Maybe Becton then slides to tackle. Maybe that's your heir apparent. But I don't know. Becton played well at guard. He was with the Jets, and he didn't do so well at tackle. So that might not be a move. But, there's a lot of things. The Eagles need an edge rusher. Brandon Graham most likely played his last game. And, nice performance by him. He had limited snaps, but he played and he put pressure on Mahomes. He was in there. He was getting in there too. But you're not going to have Brandon Graham. You're going to need to get another edge guy. You might draft one. You might get a free agent one too. I don't know what they're going to do with Bryce Huff. Are they committed to him? Can they cut him and save money? Are they dead money? Are they going to just try and keep him and make it work again next year? There's a lot of things there to work out, but the Eagles have the makings of a dynasty. I mean, your core is in place. Your quarterback's 26. Devontae Smith is young. A.J. Brown isn't old yet. You got your wide receivers lined up. Build around that. The offensive line is still one of the best in the league. It's the biggest and the tallest ever to play in the Super Bowl. There was a stat from the game I wrote down. I think okay, here they go. They average, this is nuts. They all average 6'6", 338 pounds. That's the average. Biggest and tallest lineman in Super Bowl history. It's amazing. So offensive line is good. The defensive line is good. Jalen Carter, right up the middle. That's a piece. Great draft. Howie 2 years ago. Jalen Carter, Jalix Hunt, you got this year. He looks like he could be somebody. More Juma is going to get some more play. He might be a player. We got something here, guys. We got something we can work with. Yeah, I'm not going to say you got to win two, or you got to get the two in a row, or you got to get two. You got to win another one, right? To be a dynasty. But what the Eagles did yesterday, my hand is the Eagles, and that camera is the Chiefs. So they did. They just slapped the shit out of them all game, destroyed them. I mean, it was one of the most unbelievable things I've ever seen. And I'm not just saying that. It was crazy, guys. It was nuts. I'm going these comments. We got tons of them here, man. I'm loving it. 145 points in the postseason, says Nooms, though, is an NFL record. So there's that. There you go. There you go. You put up 40 points in the Super Bowl, and you put up, what, 55 in the championship game? You get 95 points in 2 games? And that's one of that number right there, the championship game score and the Super Bowl score, those two, that combined score ranks up there with 85 Bears, I believe. It's like the 84 Niners, the 89 Niners. I mean, we're talking legendary teams. There you go, Adam. You got the same hat. This hat right here. This is the best hat, man, ever, man. I only wear it special occasions. I can't wear it out. It's like gaudy looking too. But but it's just nice to just when you just want to rock it to brag. And I'm superstitious with stuff too. Like during the playoffs, I can't put a championship hat on, you know, if they haven't won. Like if I wore this hat yesterday, I didn't wear it till they won. But if I put this hat on, I would think I'm jinxing them, even though I got no bearing on the game. What I'm wearing isn't affecting those guys on the field. Part of me does. I have the conference championship hats. I wouldn't have wore that until they won that game the week prior, 2 weeks ago. I wouldn't wear the championship hats. Okay. Noom setting the record straight on the 83 Sixers, saying the Lakers had 1 or 2 injuries in 83. All right. Eric Malmstrom, man, my boy. What's up, brother? He said that game was Rocky 3. They got comfortable and famous. We got hungry and wanted it. You know what, Eric? That's a great analogy, brother. It really is. It is, man. Rocky got civilized. The Chiefs got civilized. They thought they can waltz in there, with guys blowing bubbles all over the place while you're training. You got music playing. You got girls running around. You're dancing. You're not really working hard. You're thinking it's going to be a piece of cake, man. We're the Chiefs. We've done this now 2 years in a row. We're going to do it again. We got the officials on our side. No, you're right. The Chiefs got comfortable. They were not expecting this. And you know what? You know what I heard? The Eagles were Mr. T. The Eagles were Mr. T all week, right? They're in New Orleans. They're talking to the media. They're Chief Pete, 3-Pete, Chief Pete, 3-Pete. Guess what? The Eagles players, I was reading the article, they were getting sick of that talk. I said, man, enough. They said enough of that shit. That was a quote from somebody. Enough of that shit. 3-Pete, Chief Pete. They smashed them, man. Smashed them. So, and it's funny because right now, if you look at the Super Bowl odds, the Chiefs are favored to win it again. I believe they are tied. Whatever that number is, it's tied with the Eagles. But still, the disrespect, man, from these guys. Nooms, funny thing is the Fangio tree is not the most successful. I think Fangio gets misinterpreted a lot. Huh. Oh, really? Okay. Well, I mean, I'd still want to pick that guy's brain. What he did this year, yeah, it's not just what Vic, it's personnel. You need players to execute, right? So Vic Fangio, let's just say Vic Fangio is the greatest defensive mind out there right now. If you don't have the personnel, you can't do it. Okay, you don't have personnel to execute your game plan. No, you're not going to win, or it's not going to hold up. Steve Spagnuolo, his he's a great defensive coordinator. I think we all agree. They had no answer. They stopped Saquon Barkley, but that's one aspect of our offense. With the way this season went and Jalen Hurts' numbers being low as far as passing yardage go, but they're not thinking of the cumulative offensive numbers. It's okay if Hurts throws for 150, 175 yards. If you're rushing, if your team rushing 200 plus yards, that's okay. Fangio made a gamble. He said, we're going to stop Saquon. And they did. Barkley had one of the worst games. They stacked. Now, if Barkley would have broke through when they stacked, that could have been a home run. They were taking that chance. Barkley had 25 carries. And I agree with what the Eagles did. Give them the ball, keep feeding them. Altogether, Barkley had, I'm sorry, Barkley had 31 touches. I would have given it, if it were me, 40 times. I don't care. I was riding Barkley to a Super Bowl. But the Eagles didn't need to do that. The Eagles relied on their defense and Jalen Hurts' timely plays. Jalen Hurts made plays when it mattered, when they were needed, when it counted. He made the plays. We got to give it to him. Give him the respect. Super Bowl MVP. Look, they don't give Super Bowl MVPs to defensive coordinators. They don't give Super Bowl MVPs to the entire defensive unit. But yeah, you could have said the defensive unit of the Eagles was number one. Was the MVP? Sure, I don't have a problem with that. But they normally give it to the quarterback. But Hurts had a nice enough showing. I mean, he had 11 carries for 72 yards and a touchdown. And that offensive line held up. When Hurts needed to throw, he was able to make that throw. That yellow ball he threw to Devontae Smith was a beautiful ball. A beautiful ball he threw, perfect on the money, and it was a great catch by Devontae Smith. I mean, he had time to do that. You needed time to do that. There's no way he was going to make it all the way down the field as Devontae Smith, Slim Reaper is as fast as they come, but he needed a little bit of time to air that ball out. Complete team win. Defense. Now let's get into the box score, man. We're just going Eagles today, guys. I can't talk about anything else here. No other sport right now. Pitchers and catchers. Real quick, pitchers and catchers Wednesday. I'll just do it. Sixers 1-3 in the past week. Oh, by the way, Joel Embiid tells reporter Lisa Salters that he needs a knee surgery. More to come about that. We'll talk about that on another show. Good signing, Sixers. Flyers 1-2 in the past week. They get 2 weeks off. They got to win against the Pittsburgh Penguins. And they got to win before heading off to that Four Nations tournament break. So they'll be back in action February 22nd, 1 p.m. Eastern time. But until then, man, it's all Eagles. We're still talking Eagles. We'll be talking them off season too. We know what the deal is here in the city. Joe saying, who would you want as offensive coordinator now that Kellen Moore took the Saints job? I don't know. I got to see what's out there. Like, what are the options? Can you pluck another coordinator off another team? Are you going to get a guy from college? I'm not sure. I was hearing Frank Reich. I'd be cool with that. I'd be cool. I was thinking, what about Eric Bieniemy? But I heard that dude's not even coaching anymore, or he was at college. And there was just something with Bieniemy. I don't know what it was. He rubbed people the wrong way. I'm not sure. But I'd take a stab at him. But I don't know. There might be something going on there. But Frank Reich, if Eric Bieniemy is not an asshole, I mean, then maybe go take him. Surprisingly, I thought Eric Bieniemy would have been a coach for all the prolific offense that the Chiefs were doling out for many years. Well, yeah, I don't know who's going to be, man. What if if Kellen Moore reverses course and just says, you know what, the hell with it, I'll stay one more year in Philly, and maybe a juicier job opens up. I'm like, do you really want the Saints job, Derek Carr? And then whatever's going on, I don't know whatever's going on with the Catholic Church and them. It's kind of weird that the Catholic Church and the Saints are in cahoots, but I don't know much about that, and I don't want to get into all that. But that's maybe just extra drama you don't want or need. So, if I'm Kellen Moore, maybe you think about it. Maybe you think about hanging around one more year. I'd be all right with that. Maybe they give him a little bump in pay just to say, hey, thanks for sticking around. You know what I'm saying? Still think we should have won the 22 season Super Bowl. Yeah, man. I mean, we could have. Sod father. Are we going to blame that? The refs? I mean, we had a chance. I mean, the Chiefs were dynamite and they exposed our defense. People acting like Mahomes hasn't been off his game all year. Is it Mahomes that's off his game, or it's just his team? It's his offensive line stinks. I don't think his offensive line's that good, and that could be why his numbers are down. His weapons aren't the same. Xavier Worthy looks like a player. I mean, he had himself a nice showing in the Super Bowl, but Travis Kelsey, this could be his swan song. He could be done here. He could be retiring. He's definitely slowed down. He's not the same guy he was, whether he's battling injury or just father time catching up. But DeAndre Hopkins, he looks washed up. Marquise Brown, he's coming back from injury. Maybe he'll be okay next year. And you got Rashi Rice, who was hurt. He was supposed to be their number one, so he'll be back next year if he doesn't get suspended. But I didn't really think Mahomes had a lot of great weapons around. I just thought if the Chiefs were going to win, it was due to their defense playing well and just Mahomes pulling a rabbit out of his ass. That's all I thought it was going to be. Noom saying, "Oh, expected a 10. I expected a 10-7 season, but I expected a strong postseason showing. However, after the Cleveland and Jacksonville games, I was really suspicious." I we're talking about we're talking about the Eagles here. This is the Eagles schedule. Just taking a look here at their schedule. Because we won. Okay, so we won, but we didn't blow those teams out. I mean, Cleveland sucked. We won 2016. We beat Jacksonville 28-23. You're right. I mean, they were weird games, right? They were weird games there. But man, it's just after the Jacksonville game, Dallas, you whooped them 34-6. Washington, you beat them at home 26-18. The Rams, they put up 20. Baltimore, you held them to 19. Carolina stinks, but you held them to 16. Pittsburgh was a decent team. You could say they're frauds, but they only scored 13. It's yeah. I mean, you're right. There's some pause. And after the 2-2, when they're going into the bye, you didn't know what you had with this defense. I thought it was a repeat of last year, just more last place defense. There you go. There you go, Steve. Continue to draft strong, and we can have a repeat. Absolutely. We did the defense. Focus on the offense. Get those players, man. Get the heir apparent to Lane Johnson. Get that guard. Get a tight end. Oh man, if Tyler Warren's there at 32, you never know, man. You know how Howie is. He'll move up to get his guy. I mean, the fact that Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell were available last year, they were like 1 and 2 on the board for the Eagles, and they got them both. It was wild. It was wild. What a great draft. Adam's saying, do I think Sirianni is ahead of Peterson now for the best Eagles coach? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at Sirianni now. How long has he been in this league? 5 years? Well, he's going into his fifth year. He's been here as long as Jalen, right? Jalen's been here a year longer. Jalen got drafted. We still had Wentz. So yeah, Sirianni is ahead of Peterson right now for the best Eagles coach. I mean, look, we had Andy Reid. And Andy Reid gave us a lot of winning seasons. So I'm not going to say Nick Sirianni is better than Andy Reid, but Nick Sirianni got us a Super Bowl. Andy could never do that. He could never get over the hump. Andy had time management skills issues. Andy Reid learned, people say like we should have never got rid of Andy. Andy might not have turned into what Andy turned into if he didn't leave. Sometimes you have to fall and get back up, like another Rocky theme, and keep moving forward. That's how winning's done, right? You have to lose. Somebody that goes through life and never has failure and then gets it late in life, with whatever it is, job, work, sport, that hurts, man. And sometimes you can't come back from that. But you get that failure early on, or when it happens and you still have your prime left, and you could come back from that failure and you learn from it. You learn from your mistakes. Andy learned from those mistakes. Andy don't have time management skill issues when in Kansas City, right? He doesn't have that. It's a great. You could say he's the best coach. If you want to argue he's better than Belichick, I wouldn't fight you on it. Belichick got more rings, but Andy right now is what, 66, 67. He'll coach for a few more years. He's going to end up beating Belichick's regular season wins, and he still has a chance to get those Super Bowls. Has a chance. Not saying it's going to happen. Sirianni ahead of Peterson right now. Yeah, I'd say he is. But I still think Andy's the best coach we had. But man, if Nick wins again next year or within a couple more years while we still have him here, yeah, he'll be the best coach. Noom saying the only time I thought we were in trouble was after the A.J. Brown interference call right early on, right? When Tom Brady's like, "Oh man, I think these guys should just let them play it out." I hate throwing flags. Meanwhile, how many flags did Tom Brady benefit from in his career? That's kind of funny, right? But yeah, that was early on. You thought the refs were coming, right? The zebras were going to cause some trouble, right? I kind of thought that. I mean, AJ Brown did have his hands in the guy's face. I mean, if that were the other way around, if that were a Chiefs player doing that to AJ and a penalty wasn't called, oh, we'd be up in arms right now. Pitchforks, torches, storming referee hall, wherever they hang out. Yeah, man. I thought, yeah, I didn't know early on. Honestly, early on, I thought it was going to be. I was excited, like watch going to halftime. It's a 7-3, 10-7 game. I honestly was going to. I could have saw that. My man Matt Nelson checking in. What's up, brother? He says, looking good, Vez. I'm pretty certain Sirianni is in the top 10 winningest coaches in first 5 seasons. Yeah, he is. He is. He's got the numbers. We talk about Jalen Hurts. All Jalen does is win. All Nick does is win. And you know what? I can't doubt him anymore. I will not talk shit on Nick Sirianni anymore unless he completely goes, you know, completely jumps the shark and goes off script and does something totally egregious. But right now, man, I give my salute to you, Nick. You did it, man. You are one of the winningest coaches in the first 5 years of your NFL career. All you do is win. Uh, Ever since Sirianni came into the league, all he's done is take the Eagles to the playoffs, right? Haven't missed one. Steve saying, in some ways, Eagles front office is more impressive than New England's. And that's another thing I was reading and hearing about. Right now, remember years ago, Jeffrey Lurie got all that flack for saying, we're the gold standard and all that. But maybe we are the gold standard now. I mean, I honestly, Howie Roseman, excuse me, Howie Roseman here. Don't discount this. He may be a Hall of Fame GM. It's possible. He's still young. 3 Super Bowls in 8 years for Howie. He only won one of them. Oh, no, he won 2. Excuse me. He won 2 of them. But that ain't bad. Shrewd man when it comes to making trades, man. When you're the opposite GM and that phone's ringing and you look at that caller ID and it says Howie Roseman, you're like, shit, man, I don't want to pick this up because you don't know, man. He's gonna get you. And the deals he makes, moving up into the draft to get his guys, whatever it is, we can't doubt what Howie Roseman's doing. So he may be a Hall of Fame GM when it's all said and done. We have the makings of a dynasty. We really do. I hate to just throw that narrative out there because I don't want it to. It's good fodder, right? But I don't want to make it sound like I'm just saying it because there are things in place. There really are. Frank Reich is a good fit. Yeah, I like Frank. I heard that yesterday and I agreed. I thought that would be cool, man. We get him come back. And Noom's saying, don't be shocked if Trevor Keegan makes his team as a starter next year. I want, you know what? I'm not with this team. I'm not shocked anymore. Get Miles Garrett. Let's go get him now. Let's get Miles Garrett in here because we're gonna lose. We're gonna lose Josh Sweat. We're gonna lose Milton Williams. I mean, we might be able to sign one of those guys. But if you get Miles Garrett in here, oh my God! Or if you can't get Miles Garrett, you get Max Crosby. I would take those guys. Heartbeat all day, brother. Jalix Hunt had a very Derek Burgess like impact without it taking him 3 to 4 years. Yeah, man, I like Derek Burgess, man, and he got himself a nice contract. Went to Oakland, right? Went to the Raiders. Kind of flamed out, but my man Mitch Kofsky, what's going on, bro? To go Birds. Joke with Mitch all the time because his name Mitch Kofsky is like Matvey Mitch Koff, and then you just add the ski. Right? You got to get that jersey, man. Get that Flyers Mitch Koff, and then hyphen SKY on the end. You got to do that, brother. Michael Papernick, man. Yeah, we were talking last night. Super Bowl effing champions, long-suffering Philadelphia fan right here. He's been through it all. We got to tell these kids, Mike, how spoiled they are. My son, he just thinks the Eagles go to the Super Bowl every year. That's commonplace. Ooh, Michael saying, I want Frank Reich or John Gruden as Eagles' new OC. As I heard, Gruden wants to get back in the NFL. Gruden would be interested, man, but did he really? He might have did enough. He might have did so much damage with the way he talked. Didn't he say racist things and stuff like that, and talk a bunch of crap on the owner or the GM or a lot of stuff? I don't know if anybody wants to touch Gruden, but that would be interesting. Kaepernick saying, I think Becton signs back with the Eagles on a team-friendly contract. Yeah, I mean, Howie's got his work. Howie's got some work to do, and if anybody's going to make the right moves, it's Howie. Look, did every move Howie make work out? No, it didn't work. It didn't work out. But for every Bryce Huff, right, he signed, who was inactive yesterday, didn't play, he gets a Zach Baun, a castaway from the Saints team who was playing outside linebacker. And the team goes, you know what? We'll move him to inside. Inside linebacker. He's all pro. Zach Baun's going to get a bag of money. And I hope the Eagles re-sign him. I think he's number one priority, especially because you're not going to have the other linebacker. And I'm drawing a blank. You guys know who I'm talking about. Oh, my goodness, man. I can't remember his name right now. That's coming up is Mekhi Becton, but it's not Mekhi Becton. Going to the parade Friday. That's right, Adam. Oh man, you're gonna have a great time, man. Stay dry. Yeah, the parade is gonna be on Friday for all you guys willing to go out there. Gonna have some fun. But it was supposed to be Thursday, but they moved it to Friday because of the weather. So let's just hope it doesn't snow, man. I'm over winter time. N'Kobe Dean. There you go. That's the guy. That's the guy. He's hurt. Barbara, Super Bowl champs. How are you? Howie has a better chance of making Hall of Fame than Hurts. Yeah, I mean, look, Hurts is still young. Hurts has one Super Bowl, but his career is far from over. So we'll see. I'm not going to say Hurts is a Hall of Fame player. No, too early to say that. But if there's talk about Eli Manning being a Hall of Famer, right? He won two Super Bowls, and what did what other than the two Super Bowls? What was so great about Eli Manning's career? So if Hurts wins two, three Super Bowls and has a career like Eli Manning's, would he be considered a Hall of Famer? He might. And Barbara's saying, Sal, I don't understand why the Eagles have the all-time leading rusher, but the quarterback runs so much that he's the leading rusher in the Super Bowl. I think, Barbara, it was just a matter of scheme in this instance. I think the Steve Spagnuolo's plan for the Chiefs were they weren't going to let Saquon Barkley burn them. And Saquon Barkley, every game he's been in, the playoffs, just 150 plus rushing yards. They were not going to let Saquon beat him. And that's what they decided on. And they thought maybe that play would work. But Jalen Hurts did enough with his legs and his arm. And look, I don't want Jalen Hurts to run all the time, but it's nice that he can do that. One of the things Patrick Mahomes is known for doing is being able to scramble and run when he needs to. Mahomes isn't known as a running quarterback, but in the playoffs, if you actually look at the numbers with Mahomes, he runs more in the playoffs than he does in the regular season. So, I think it's just for Hurts. He just took what the defense gave him. And if he was able to rush for a few yards to get a first down, he was going to do it. And if there was one thing you can note about Jalen Hurts, he was not going to be denied. His screensaver, his wallpaper on his phone, on his computer, it was confetti raining down on him when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl 2 seasons ago. So when that happened, Hurts was on the field, walking off, looking dejected, despondent, and just, red and white confetti falling down on him. And he kept that as motivation. So I'm cool with what Hurts did in this game. A lot of people just say Hurts is a game manager. And I think he's more than that. I think Jalen Hurts right now is a top five, top six quarterback in this league. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Josh Allen. He's not Lamar Jackson. He doesn't have to be. He could just be Jalen Hurts. And that's good enough to win a Super Bowl, as we just saw yesterday. So, hey, they're going to run it back. They got Saquon next year. They're gonna try, run him into the ground again. If it's not broken, don't fix it. And I think they're going to just try and employ the same strategy. Wear the teams out with the run. Let Jalen make plays when he needs to, safe plays, and let your defense do the talking. And let them carry you to wins at another Super Bowl. Kenny Pickett got a ring. Yes, he did, man. And you know what? He was the quarterback on record at the end of the Super Bowl. He got the knee. You know when the parade starts, Adam? As soon as you get there, brother. When you get there, that parade's starting. No, I don't know, man. Probably early on. Yeah, hey, you know what? I know a guy like you. You'll get there early. You'll be there. You'll be there. Get yourself a nice place, a nice spot to post up at. So you'll be good. Barbara fact checking me. Says, Sal, quick Google check. Eli Manning has just about 60,000 yards passing, almost 400 touchdown passes that were both top 7 in history when he retired. Wow, I didn't know that. That's all right. That's impressive. I'm an Eagles fan, but not a homer. I doubt Hurts gets those. No, probably not the 400 touchdown passes and the 60,000 passing yards. You're right. But what he does with his legs, and those rushing touchdowns, I mean, those rushing touchdowns count just as much as a passing touchdown. I think so. We'll see. We'll see hey, the book has not been written yet on Jalen Hurts' career. He's 26 years old. He's 26 years old. He's been to 2 Super Bowls and he's won one, and he almost won the other one. and you put the numbers up between him and Mahomes, those past 2 games together, and Hurts's numbers are just better. They're better, guys. Man, I'm already over an hour. I didn't even get into the box score. I'm going to save that because you know what? Well, football season is over, but we'll still be talking Eagles. Barber cut Barkley then. Oh, why sign him? Oh, come on. Barkley got 2,000 yards. He's the man. He's the man. All right, guys, about to wrap this up. Yeah, I see a lot of people watching. Come on now. Well, throw up a like for your boy. Throw up a like for It's a Wrap Network. Share, subscribe. Get all this hotness out to you, your friends, your family. All right? Well, it was a fun day, guys. A fun weekend. I need some sleep. I'm friggin' tired, guys. But hope you're all doing well. Talk to you next time. Go Birds. Go Eagles. 2025 champions, bro. Yeah, man. No, you want Hurts to run. Is my point. I don't want him to run. I just want him to do what he needs to do to win. Adam, great show, Sal. Super Bowl champs. Take care. Take care, Barbara. Take care, everyone. Talk to y'all next time. Take care. Peace.